Hey guys, it's me Zen, and today we're gonna talk about, well, throwing out orchids. Okay, so this might be a, well, let's say sad topic, but I think I'm gonna do right now a little discussion about this, not a proper like tutorial video or something. So we're gonna talk about this throwing out aspect of orchids, and well, I got the idea because, well, one of my previous videos was about throwing out these oncidium bulbs which were affected by fusarium, and well, I got a lot of comments and a lot of questions regarding those, why did I do that, and it was a good idea or not, and this kind of stuff. So I thought I'm gonna make this throwing out orchids, some ideas about that, and this kind of topic for today. This is what I thought for this video. So let's start, well, by mentioning that oncidium there. And well, Roger, you mentioned actually that there wouldn't be point keeping that orchid like for example treating it with something fungicide or something, since it had no leaves and no roots. Well, they were a few roots, but you know, that's just like nothing, because they were just grown, they were really tiny, so the fungicide would have not been like properly sucked up by the plant. And well, also there is, you know, my side, and since it's my choice and it's a personal choice for everybody, because all of us have these orchids which are not doing so good and they are rather declining and they are overly and overly stressed, and they can actually go as bad that they will arrive at the beyond saving section, and no matter what you do, you cannot save an orchid. But there are some really stressed and really bad orchids which you really want to save, so you put a lot of effort in it and a lot of energy in it, and you're actually able in those cases to revive the orchid. And well, in that case you still have a lot of years to go ahead of you, since the orchid was super stressed. It really needs to gain energy and grow bigger growths or leaves and more roots, so that's gonna be like eat up time for you without seeing those blooms. And we actually grow orchids for the blooms mainly, not in all cases, because sometimes we can keep our orchids because of the foliage, because of the pseudobulbs, because of this kind of stuff. In the case of my oncidium, well, someone asked why I actually throw out that division. Ooh, a leaf just fell from my cat seat. Why I threw out that division, which was like 3 pseudobulbs and the really tiny new growth just starting to grow, but it has like dried sheets around it. So why didn't I cut into the rhizome? But right now I know that that part of the orchid had fusarium as well. So as the new growth were started to grow, the sheets were drying up. So I think there is just a really tiny chance for that orchid to sprout a healthy new growth, and anyways the fusarium will be faster than the new growth, because all those pseudobulbs were infected with fusarium in the case which had that little new growth. So in the case of the other one, I'm sure that all these pseudobulbs were affected as well, or infected as well. I kind of didn't see the point of keeping it, since I would have to put a lot of energy into caring for that plant. Well, you know, if I would see that these 3 pseudobulbs and there is a new growth like growing on it with healthy roots and stuff like that, and I see that it wants to live, well, okay, I'm gonna keep it, I'm gonna care for it, and after like a year it will maybe bloom for me, because in these cases, when you have these backup plan pseudobulbs, these back bulbs, they can provide a lot more energy than if it was, for example, a seedling. And well, since it had fusarium, I decided to throw it out because I don't want it to fuss with it. Also, fusarium, if it's really just there is a plant which is really infected with fusarium, fusarium actually can travel through air, and I talked about this in my fusarium video, which I think this is a really important idea about fusarium. It can travel through air by spores as well. So, well, yeah, maybe I would risk my entire collection if the Fusarium like develops too much in that plant. So at the end, everything just boils down to your personal preference and your personal logic and what do you like to keep and stuff like that. Since maybe you are risking your entire collection in the case of infection, maybe you are not risking your entire collection because just one orchid is really stressed. For example, here is my Phalaenopsis Palm Coast something, I cannot remember the name. I really like this plant, but maybe it has Fusarium, maybe it's just super stressed, but the leaves were falling off and the roots weren't growing like super nice and as I wanted them to grow. And yeah, I really like this Phalaenopsis, but actually I think I'm gonna throw it out since I tried to keep it in a pot but the roots weren't growing super good. Then I made this jar saving something with it so it gets more humidity around the root area, but still the roots decided to die off for me. So right now I think I'm just gonna throw it out. Yes, I really loved it. It was a fragrant mottled leaf Phalaenopsis. It was a Schilleriana crossed with I think the Cassandra. So it looked like a miniature flower, the Schilleriana hybridish something, and it was fragrant. I really loved the fragrance, I really loved the look of this plant, but you know, I don't want to like fuss with it too much. It's not my thing. I come to this stage in orchid hobby when I can throw out orchids without feeling too bad about it, you know. Like when I had like 20 orchids or something, I'm sure I would keep this one. I'm sure I would keep my other these Oncidium bulbs and I would try to save them. But right now I actually appreciate when the orchid is healthy and big and stuff like that, and I just don't want to fuss with these negative little stupid bitches. No, I just don't want to focus on these saving mode orchids because I'm not interested in them anymore. I'd rather have 3 other healthy orchids than this one saved. Maybe I will find it again, maybe not, but I will keep an eye on these available orchids around me on the internet and in these places, and I'd rather buy a new one which is healthy than care for this one and stress about it, what's gonna happen with it. So it's really at the end just a personal reference. These kind of orchids which are stressed, they are not risk to your entire collection. Maybe they are only risk to your health, because you have to think about your health as well and your, let's say, sanity as well. I think I'm not interested in these kind of orchids. Yes, although I have some orchids which are rather stressed and I'm trying to save them because some are not doing their best and this kind of stuff, but I rather don't focus on these really stressed, really a lot of energy and effort needing orchids because I'm not interested in them. I'm really sure a lot of you would keep those Oncidium bulbs as well in your collection because your logic is a little bit different in that case. So it's really up to my personal choice in that case, but I am sure that it's not like it's not everything like black and white, you know. It's like there are good choices if you think about that aspect of something, but there can be other good choices which might like seem bad choices for some people, but for some people those are the good choices because they actually focus on other aspects of growing orchids and having an orchid collection and stuff like that. And also, as I'm going through these years with my orchid collection, as I'm growing them, as I'm experiencing stuff, as I'm buying new kinds of species and new kinds of orchids and this kind of stuff, I am not saying that this is my final idea about growing orchids and I won't change my mind like ever, but currently this is how I'm thinking. So currently I would throw out these kinds of orchids because I don't need them. I'm super sure I did not mention like every aspect of throwing out orchids, because there are a lot of other like mentioning worth subtopics in this topic. For example, throwing out healthy orchids, throwing out big orchids, throwing out orchids you don't need, stuff like that. So I just mentioned this kind of subtopic, let's say. So this is my video for today. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, click on the like button, leave a comment down there in the comment section, because I'm curious about your opinions about throwing out orchids and not throwing out orchids, and how do you, well, what do you think about this whole topic? Also, you can subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my other channel as well, and don't forget to click on the bell button thingy so you will get notifications every time I upload a new video. And well, yeah, I think that's that, and that's all. You can follow me on Instagram, and see you next time. Bye guys.